Do you get leads or do you get referrals? We're going to talk about the difference and how getting referrals can revolutionize your business. I have a special guest today. I have Jake Honadle here today. How you doing, Jake?
I am doing fantastic, very blessed, better than I deserve, as Dave Ramsey would say.
All right, good. That's a really good personal intro. I like that.
I worked on it.
So good. So Jake, tell us what you do here at Morgan Financial.
Yeah, so I am in business development with the company, and so my job is sort of to be a middleman between our loan officers who work in the office and our real estate agent referral partners so that our loan officers can remain in the office actually doing loans and providing great service.
Okay, good. And so what's your role? What do you do with the real estate agents?
Yeah, so I do a lot of different things. Contrary to popular belief, I don't just go get free lunches every day for a living.
Okay,
I'm constantly following up with agents and helping to facilitate and steward that relationship to be able to grow it and not only maintain the business that we have with them, but also grow that business so it can kind of go in perpetuity into the future.
Okay, cool. So Jake, today we're talking about leads versus referrals, right?
Yes.
Cool. And so what's your experience with that, with leads versus referrals?
Yeah, I think that it is probably one of the biggest aspects of any salesperson's business to be able to learn that difference between a lead and a referral. I mean, it's huge. For me personally, when you can learn to be able to train your referral partners to give you solid referrals, I know Jay, you'll talk a little bit more what that means, instead of just throwing leads at you and kind of seeing if they stick, it can revolutionize your whole business, you know? To actually hear a little bit from you, Joe, on this one, regarding a lead and a referral and your experience, vast as it is, what would you say really is that difference between, a lead you get and a true referral?
That's a great question. And I think a lot of people think they're interchangeable. A lead and a referral, it's the same thing. But I couldn't tell you that couldn't be farther from the truth. Really a lead in its simplest form is a name and a number. It's like, hey, I need a plumber. Okay, cool. Look in the yellow pages. Hey, call this guy. There's a name and a number. That's a lead. Now, a referral would be, hey, listen, Jake, you asked me for a plumber. I just had a great experience with a plumber. They came on time. They were dressed neatly. They did a great job. They charged me what they said they were going to charge me, and they fixed it, and it worked out great. Here's his name and his number. I'll give him a call and let you know that they're going to be calling you, so they're going to expect your call. And so really what the difference is, a referral is someone, you have a personal experience with that individual. And you're actually selling that individual to the other person because you had such a good experience. It's an easy sell. You're just telling what happened. Hey, showed up on time. Services promised. All these things. So when you receive that as the receiver of that referral, it's already been sold into you.
Exactly.
And it comes with built-in trust because you trust me. And you trust me, and I don't want to give a high recommendation for someone that doesn't do good service because that's going to reflect poorly on me, and you know that, right? So when I give you that referral, you're going to be like, that's going to come with some weight, And we see this in our industry a lot. It's like, I know the relationship between a loan officer and a real estate agent, or even an insurance agent. And if the loan officer was going to refer that real estate agent and they just said, okay, here's a name and a number, that's going to be that may not translate to that lead to that agent versus saying, hey, I worked with this agent. They did a great job. Or I see them do a great job for my clients in the past. Here's their name and number. I'll let them know you're going to be calling them. There's a whole big difference that goes on there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely does. And one of the things that really makes me think about when I look at just the whole picture of the entire, you can call it the transaction, the industry, whatever, it does seem like there is a lot more momentum or power behind a referral as opposed to just, like you said, a name and a number or a lead. And so if you could, I'd love to hear you kind of speak into why is there more power behind a referral? Why does that help to grow your business more over the long term than just getting leads?
Well, let's talk about it from the real estate agent's perspective. Remember what the real estate agent, what the loan officer, they just want the transaction to go smoothly, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And so but they also want to be efficient and effective in what they do. So if you're a real estate agent and you just give out a name and a number to your loan officer partner, well, you're actually hurting yourself Because if you give them, now that loan officer has to chase them down. And when they get a hold of them, then there's not much trust built in. And then it's harder and rockier from the start. And at the end of the day, remember, the real estate agent wants, they want their paycheck, as they should, at closing. And the reason they probably referred that loan officer is they know the loan officer does a good job. But if they don't refer him in the right manner, it's going to make it harder for everybody to be successful.
Yeah.
So actually, by giving a referral versus a lead, the loan officer, it'll have an easier time getting a hold of the borrower, qualifying them, getting documents, because there's built-in trust. So it actually saves the the real estate agent time by giving a strong referral, as long as it's an honest, genuine referral.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think anyone would want to be referred and they say, oh, you got to call this guy. He has the lowest rates in town. If they don't, if they don't have the lowest rates in town, don't say that. If they don't do a good job, don't refer them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. But if they do a good job and you trust them and you've worked with them before and you have had great experiences, then you want to give a strong referral. The best way to do it is to call the borrower and say, or the person who's looking to buy the home, and say, listen, I've worked with this loan officer before. They do a great job. You can use whoever you want on this transaction, but I would prefer that you start here.
Yeah.
So you're not obligating the borrower. You're not making them use anyone specific. So it alleviates you from that risk. But you're saying, look, this person has done a great job in the past. With your permission, I'll let them know to reach out to you so you all can get together and start out the qualification process.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that really makes me think about, kind of to wrap around what you were saying, is that idea of, when you get a referral, that client's pre-sold. Correct. They've already been sold. And it's almost like, just to put it in really simple terms, like if I go to Costco and there's a TV that's on sale, but I've already seen the ads, I've called about it, I've researched about it, and I know that I already want that TV, well, that's a lot different, me going in to buy it, than if I'm just walking around Costco and someone tries to sell me on a TV, right? And it kind of is the same thing in real estate or whatever. If you refer your referral partners truly and they're pre-sold, it's going to make the whole transaction, it seems like, way smoother.
That's right. And, I think about the power of a referral is not just, me telling you, but there's that built-in trust, right? But think about this, consumers don't trust advertising.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't trust it. So that's why Amazon has their star rating. It's like, well, if it's a 1 star, I'm not going to buy the product. It's going to take a lot for me to get to buy a 1-star reviewed Amazon product. But if it's a 5-star glowing review, there's hundreds of reviews. People trust peer reviews well over companies and advertising.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
And look, are you going to, if I'm the loan officer and I'm saying, look, I'm awesome, how far does that go versus a past client or a real estate agent or title agent saying, hey, they're really good, you should work with them? Yeah. Right. So you want to be referred, whether you're a real estate agent, a title agent, insurance agent, a loan officer, you want to be referred.
Exactly.
The leads are great, but the likelihood of a lead closing is a lot lower than a referral. Yeah. And that helps the referrer and the referee in these situations. Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting too. I forgot where I had seen this. It might have been the National Association of Realtors or something along those lines. But they even said that like real estate agents, the top producing, like $10 million plus producing agents, on average about 80 to 85% of all of their business comes in from past client and sphere referrals. Right. And so really, if you look at even the top producers in the industry, it's not really a secret. I mean, most of their business is from that method, and there's really a reason why, Yeah, and I always think about it in those terms. I think about, how do you want to be referred? Yeah, right. That's good. If you're a loan officer, how do you want to be referred? Well, you should refer people in the same way. And I know as a loan officer, I always liked to be referred, to be given the name and number, but that name and number of that person, they've already been told, hey, Joe's going to reach out to you. You can use whoever you want, but you might like Joe. At the very least, you'll find out Joe's your a great person to work with. And at the worst case, you'll find out he's not good and you like who you're with. Either way, it's a win for you, right? So that's how I would like to be referred, is to be given a name and a number that's been told about me, that I call them and they're expecting my call. And I'm sure most agents would like to be referred the same way. Yeah. That way the call's expected, the call gets answered, and you have that discussion. It's up to the client whether they use you or not.
Yeah.
Right. There's no obligation. It's up to the client whether they use you. But if you truly believe in that other partner, then the best way to refer them is to let the client know, hey, I'm going to have so-and-so reach out to you to discuss your insurance, your title, your mortgage options.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, the funny thing about it is it's not rocket science. I mean, it's really not that complicated. And in fact, it's really easy to do, but putting it into practice can be challenging, obviously. And that's why we're here to help kind of explain it. All right. So one of the things that is so interesting about this whole situation is really how simple it is. Like it's not rocket science at all. And it's funny that something so simple can really revolutionize your entire business. And I know you mentioned that, Joe, in the very beginning, how it can really, just revolutionize your business in totality. So I want to hear from you. Why really is that? Why does, getting referrals really make such an impact on your business?
Well, you got to remember there's three things that I believe are most important to most real estate agents and most people in our industry. Mm-hmm. So number one is closing on time, right? Closing on time is super important. Without closing on time, it sets a whole, explosion of issues off, with sellers, with buyers, insurance, title, everything. It just makes a mess.
Yeah.
So real estate agents and loan officers alike want everything to close on time, right? But if you leave a borrower's closing to chance and say, use whoever you want and don't give them a good referral, they're going to go out there and they're going to shop the internet and they're going to find what they believe is the least expensive loan on the planet. Yeah. And it may or may not close on time, putting everyone's deal at risk. And so it puts if you're a real estate agent, it puts your commissions at risk. If you're a title agent, you're closing, your insurance agent, same thing. So number one, the most important thing is closing on time. Well, one thing to guarantee that is someone that consistently closes on time. The second thing that's important, that this is from surveys done through NAR and things like that. The second most important thing is communication. So if the borrower goes out and you give them a name and a number, don't set up a good referral, and they might not get good communication, and they're going to be dissatisfied with the transaction. And even though you had no part in referring the person that they went out on their own and found, if they get poor communication, they're going to have a negative experience, and that reflects poorly on you, even though you didn't pick the loan officer. Yeah. So that's another reason why it's important, to give a good referral, even if they don't use that person, right? Because you gave the good referral, you set them up for success, and what they chose to do with it after that is on them. And the third final thing is that one of the things I hear over and over from real estate agents is that, I hate it when I give a lead and no follow-up is done. Like they don't even follow up with my leads. Well, maybe they are, but maybe you gave a lead, not a referral. And so they've been calling these people, but the people aren't picking up because they see a number they don't recognize. They're not expecting your call. They get a voicemail. They don't know who it is. They don't call them back. So those three things make up the most important things according to surveys to real estate agents. And a lot of that can be fixed to help you in your business. Because look, if you give a referral and that loan officer gets a hold of the client, now you have two people following up with that client with the mutual goal of getting closed on time with good communication. That follow-up is key. But if you don't set that referral up in the beginning, that follow-up can't happen because now the client's not picking up or they don't trust that person or whatever because it hasn't been explained properly and referred properly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So those simple things will help you. If you can have a hand in helping them pick a good loan officer, whether that be at Morgan Financial here,
hopefully it is,
or another trusted local lender. Either way, that you're working together to help that client towards the goal of getting them closed on time as promised with good communication, and it puts a smile on everyone's face at the end of the transaction. And that's what gives more referrals.
Exactly. And it's cool too, because it's really applicable in any sales business you're in, whether you're a lender or a real estate agent, if you're in the title business, we all have referral partners that we work with. And if we can really do a work to train and kind of teach our referral partners to give those referrals, no matter where you are. It's
Right.
always going to be the best thing. So it's not just, a real estate agent referring business to a lender.
That's right.
It could be a real estate agent maybe training your past clients to be able to refer you a certain way. You know?
That right there, Jake, is what will revolutionize
Yeah.
your business. If you're a real estate agent, you're training your past clients, your other partners to refer you business in the way in which you like to be referred.
Exactly.
Because a referral is way stronger than a lead. Getting a name and a number is nothing without the backing of the actual referral.
100%. That's great. Well, that's all I got, Joe. And, the great fountain of wisdom that is Joe Harris has done an amazing job, And it's awesome. We really appreciate everything you do and being able to kind of pour into everybody and share this information. I think it's going to be a big help.
Thanks, Jake. Thanks for your wisdom on a daily basis. That's all we got for today. Hope you had a good time here today. Like us, share us, do all those things.
Subscribe,
subscribe,
whatever else you can do.
with the
I don't know.
Instas and the Tiki-Takis and the
Yeah.
Twitters. We'll talk to you next time.